Hi, good morning. My name's Maddy. So I am a PM at Microsoft on the Aspire team. I was on the .NET team for the first 7 years of my career, and then Aspire split off into its own world, a polyglot, like multiple languages. But I had the pleasure of being here last year because Joseph Hill, who's one of the organizers, was my boss when he still worked at Microsoft. And we were in a very different phase of the product lifecycle than we are now with Aspire. And so when he said that you guys were coming back this year, I was really excited. And I was like, can I do like the next iteration? Because I got some good feedback last year. I recognize faces, so that's always good. And we've built some more things, which is what we're supposed to do. So I like the full disclosure is I'm not a game dev. I have the creativity of like a sock. So I can't. I've tried. I took a game dev class in college, and I was like, I will build the database. Thank you so much. But that works out well because it turns out that like when you go in to build a game, you're like, cool, I'm gonna build some sprites. Like this is so exciting. I'm gonna be concerned ape and create an entire soundtrack myself. And then you get fooled into this world that game dev is just the fun stuff. And then you realize to make all of it work, you have to actually build a bunch of other stuff, right? And so there are really good plug-and-play solutions for a lot of these things now, especially for indie games. Like, there's all different sorts of things that you can plug in, especially, depending on how you distribute it. Steam has things, Xbox has PlayFab. Like, there are really good options out there. But at some point, you might outgrow or need something besides what these plug-and-play options give you, and then you become like a database and auth and telemetry and analytics and Docker Compose developer, right? And you have to understand what RabbitMQ is and message bus, and you're just like, what in God's name? I just want to make my guy go across the screen. And so what happens with games is that you basically end up building a distributed app. Like, you build the same thing that a person building an e-commerce site builds, except instead of the front end being an e-commerce site, you are building a story and a world and all of these other things. So you're actually doing like 15 times more work than the normal distributed app dev. And then you sit down at your desk, and to start working for the day, you have to start all of these things. If you're good, if you're really, really good and you created the thing yourself and nobody else has ever touched it, you've probably built a script, and the script does most of this for you. But then when you try to get the first person to ever join your team, getting them to run it is like 3 days of just like, oh, try this. Oh, you have to set this and blah, 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 right? And it is a mess. And you can mock things out. We all do it, where we say, okay, I'm just gonna use fake data. I'm just gonna use a fake online matchmaking service. I'm just gonna fake all of this stuff out for dev so I can just get to the actual core of it. But then you have to go through the dance of deploying something to actually test the full end-to-end. And that is a whole other loop of just effort and time and waiting and trying and failing and not being able to figure out why it failed and then having to go back and guesstimate. And we've all been through this. Like, even me when I try to build my little snake games, which is the level of gaming I get into, building, like, I get so frustrated with just having to like stop and restart and then like turn on one thing and deploy one thing or publish one thing and get the package. So you're building a full-on distributed system. And this is the same issue that developers who build any type of app that's gone beyond a front end and a back end run into. Like, once you add a database, everything falls apart. Or a cache, or insert like microservice-y term here. And it becomes impossible to onboard people. Everything is fragile. And deployment, it becomes the only way that you can actually test your end-to-end. And when I say deployment in the context of a distributed app, obviously that means like pushing the front end to Azure or whatever. But in your case, it means deploying all your services and then building the package of the front end app of the game and publishing that and opening it and making sure it connects to all your services and making sure that you packaged it with the right ports and the right endpoints and that the staging URLs are what's in the package and not the prod URLs. And it's just a hot mess all the time. And Aspire, the product I work on, we started it as a like at first it was really just a set of templates where we were like, we can make this probably easier with templates. It totally, Ghosty, calm down. It totally like went beyond that. And so because I was on the .NET team, we have a lot of C# game developers between Godot and Unity and everything. And we started looking at games as like, could this be something we can help? And it is, which is very exciting. And so that's why I'm here, because I know that this is a problem that people run into once you move on from, this is my game and I am an indie dev and I have built this thing, to, okay, this is a game that I am now like bringing into the world and I'm expanding people on it. You know, having a team, having multiple people work on it. I need to build custom logic for different services. I can't just build, I mean, once you start to get into crossplay and all the cross-platform stuff, it just, all the plug-and-play services start to fall apart, right? And so what Aspire does is it lets you describe your entire app, your entire games stack in code. Not Markdown, which I know everyone has, agents aside, AI aside, like Markdown is not the answer. You know, I'm done with it. I'm done with the Markdown thing. The experiment is over. Aspire is code first. So you use C# or TypeScript, which I know for you folks like C# is more familiar than TypeScript, unless you're also a front-end dev, which I'm sorry if that's true. But you use that to actually like define in code what your stack is and say, hey, I have a game, and that game knows about my leaderboard API, which is built in .NET. And it also knows about my matchmaking service, which I pulled in some SDK that someone built in Go. And it knows about my cloud save sync, which I pulled in some thing that some team built on my company that's in Rust. I don't know, like insert language here, right? You're stitching all these things together, but you're using code to do it for any distributed app. And then what we have is a CLI, or a VS Code extension. I don't care if you like to click buttons. You're welcome to click buttons. That you just run it all in one thing. And so what it looks like is, actually, let me go back. Ugh. You hit Aspire run, we start everything for you. And we're not emulating, right? Like this is the key thing with Aspire. We're just starting threads. We're just starting processes on disk. We're not pretending to run something in some environment unless you say like, yes, run my Postgres database as a Docker container, right? That's the obvious way that you'd run that, or Podman is what I have on my Mac, a container. And then we give you a dashboard, and the dashboard is a way to see everything that's going on in your app, not just what's running and where, but also how they're talking to each other. And that includes things like tracing and logs. So you can actually trace a request from the front end of your game through all your different APIs and services and back to the game. And it's kind of magical once you get it working. So the way that the app host, this is like that file, the app map, if you will, the app host. The way that this works is, I know this is wicked small, so hold on, let me do this. Oh no, Control 3 fingers? Hold on, we have to go to my settings. This is a new MacBook, and I have not turned on my favorite Zoom thing yet. Use scroll gesture with modifier keys to zoom on. Magical. So this is what it looks like. It's like literally this simple. I mean, a real one's gonna have more than just this, but like, look at add Postgres, and it has a database in it, and then my leaderboard and my like client have to know that there's an API about the scores, and that score API needs to know that the database exists, because that's where I'm storing my stores, so that when I stop the game and restart the game, it isn't just sorted memory, right? Like I'm just declaratively explaining the model of my application. And then with all of this, you can do some really, really cool, both DevX and deployment side things. The dashboard, well, I'm not even gonna try and click through these. I'm just gonna show it to you because it's gonna be easier to explain by looking at it. But what you need to know about the dashboard is it comes with Aspire. It's like bundled in. It's a free OpenTelemetry compatible dashboard, and you can basically like one-shot OpenTelemetry support with anything right now. If you're like not using AI for development, good, that's fine. You can follow the templates. They actually work pretty well for most languages. Python, I still personally struggle with doing it by hand. But I don't know why you'd use Python. So, I mean, Python's amazing. And then what we give you on the Aspire side is we build these things called integrations, and those are what you plug into that app host file. And we say this is generally the way that you'd want to start up a Postgres container at dev time, and generally the way that you'd want to deploy it to staging or to prod. And we package all these things up. And they're actually just under the hood. They're NuGet packages, which is the .NET package manager. But you don't even know that. You don't have to be exposed to that. It's just like totally genericized. We have them for all of the local things, containers that you'd ever want. There's like 160 of them. They're very easy to build your own. I'll show you the Godot one that I built. And then we also support all the different clouds. So what you can do with this app map, right, is take that and translate it into deployment assets. So if you're deploying to, I don't know, insert backend of choice, right, we can turn this into bicep or YAML or CDK for AWS. Like, we translate this file because it's code and we know the types of everything. We translate it into the deployment assets for whatever deployment runtime you're going to, which means you don't have to handwrite CI ever again, which is amazing. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. And I mentioned before, I'm using something called Reveal.js to run my slides here, which is fun for a demo because that means that I can actually model it in Aspire as a resource because it's just a JavaScript app. So this is how I got to my slides, by the way, through the Aspire dashboard right here. Slides. And in this Aspire dashboard, I have my game. This is, do you need me to flip this to light mode? Do you want light mode? Is it good? Okay. And this is the fake game I've built. It's Snake, like I said. That's the only game I know how to build. And it has a leaderboard API, it has a matchmaking API, and it has a score API that updates the score database, right? I cloned this when I got in here this morning, and I ran it once just to make sure it was actually going to work. But this is a fresh clone and run. I have not done literally anything to this machine besides just run it. And it did work, which is, I love to hear that. And then what it did, when I did Aspire run here, this is the app host running in the, I did Aspire PS to get my dashboard link. When I did Aspire run, it started all of these things, including my game. Oh geez, that's gonna be really bad with the zoom. This is gonna be terrible with the zoom. Okay, that's fine. But it started my game, and then it started all of these APIs and all the different services running behind it. And so let's actually do it again. Close, Aspire, kill. What? Nope, sorry, it stopped. We changed it. We said kill was too strong. And then run it. Sweet. Okay, so it just popped everything back up. It did run it headless by default, so I will flip that back on. But it just started all my services for me that quickly. And when you look at what this code is doing, these are all different languages. So I did it just kind of as a party trick. Like, there's really no reason to build services in 5 different languages. Like, just pick the one you like and use that one. But trust. Just to prove it to you, that's how I did this. So, okay, let's go into my app host. And this is the file that defines everything. So this is the real version of the thing I showed you in the slide. But I have a Postgres database. It's got a data volume on it. This is if headless is set in config. And we'll change that so that we can actually pop the game up every time we run it. But that's a really good way to test all your services just by hitting the endpoints without having to start up the engine every single time. I have my score API. It is a C# app that knows about the scores database. I have a matchmaking API that's a Go app. All it does right now is it just puts someone else on the leaderboard. Like, it literally doesn't do anything. But it you know, just to show it's a different service that does something. And it needs to wait for that score API to be healthy before it starts because it has to hit that to work. I have a node app for the leaderboard. It's going to run an npm install for me, which is why I was able to clone and run it on a fresh machine without having to do npm install in 17 folders. It has some environment variables in there, so the URL for the score API, it waits for it. It has a command, we'll come back to that. My Vite app, which is just my slides, right? That fancy Reveal.js thing, go away. And then the Godot app. And this is here saying, find Godot on my path. So I'm using Godot Mono. You don't have to. You could use either one. Like you can use Godot.net or regular Godot. I just have Godot.net because I'm a .NET developer. So that's the one I'm using here. What I did was make it so that you just point it to the path and it knows it exists. Headless, we're just going to do false. False. Oh, that's not good. Let's not do that. And then a bunch of environment variables, whatever. And then run. This is it. This is, how many lines was that? This is 66 lines to run 3 services and an app. And all my code is just in here elsewhere, right? But I don't have to touch that. This was the game. I cloned it from someone's repo, and then I made it cuter, not just like a green box. My scenes and my assets and everything are in here. All my services are hidden in a different folder. Like, I didn't touch any of this code. I just stitched it together. I took my hot glue gun and I glued it all together onto the Lego base plate with Aspire. And so I Aspire ran it. Let's do it again now that I switched to not headless again. And it kicks off all those different processes for me under the hood. So it does go run whatever. It does npm start, starts my game up. Oh, I know why. I know why I did that, because I'm hard coding variables like an idiot. Hold on, up here. Can I comment this out or will it get mad at me? How do I want to do this? Let's do this. X, and then I'm going to put that down here in case I want to pull it back. Sorry, I'm artisanally coding. It's very difficult. Okay, try that again. Aspire run. It's so much faster. We just did a huge performance thing with the CLI, and oh, it's crashing. Well, what's the temperature on AI in this room? Are we all like anti, like don't touch it? Yeah, we're all thumbs down. Yeah. Are we, there are some people who are like neutral. One thing that Aspire will give you is logs and telemetry for everything in one place. So if I go into the logs here, I don't actually have to open up like Godot or any of the API or any of the UIs or IDEs or whatever it is. Oh yeah, so this is a resource failure. All my logs are in this one place. What's nice is you can export this as a JSON file. You can download them, or you can use the CLI to get them. And give it to the person on your team who's very good at debugging. If you like AI, that may or may not be AI. If you don't, that's fine. I'm not going to force you to use it. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to build bad game backends. But just FYI, you can download everything and just give it to whatever search or algorithm or script you have, and it will take all of the logs for everything and stitch them together for you. So this is like broken down just into the Snake client, right, to my actual app. But I can see all of them and how they're happening in order as my entire stack starts up. So what's going on here? Make sure the script exists. Okay. Cool. That's fun. Why? It just worked, though. Unable to open file. Failed loading resource. Are they... Did Git not sync them? Okay, we'll come back to that. Actually, I am going to cheat. I'm sorry. Close your eyes. Close your eyes if you don't like AI. I'm sorry in advance. Why won't my game start? It's just because I'm doing a demo, and I'm not going to make you watch me debug this in person. And I have unlimited tokens because I'm evil. So what's really cool about this is I can actually just like use the CLI and my eyeballs to read the logs and not have to chase them across all of the different places in the stack that I have here. And let me show you while it attempts to figure this out. And it's not going to do a good job, but it'll probably get it to work enough. Let me show you how I actually built a custom resource to run Godot, because it's super easy. Like, I did not do anything fancy here. I just, I said the Godot resource that I'm building here. Oh, thank you. Good crash. It's based on an executable because I have a CLI. I have the app on my disk somewhere, and I exported the path somewhere. And then I have a resource, which is what is defined in my app host here. That's this, my Godot resource. And it needs a name and a command, et cetera, et cetera. And then on that, I have some extensions. So where the executable is, if I want to run it headless, frames to quit after, if there is a fallback needed for a project file. So that's just because I updated this project from the version I had tried to do last year, and I changed everything, and I needed to keep a fallback in it. And then I just build out the resource. Like, this is just code. I'm not really doing anything fancy here. I'm appending arguments to the CLI. So this works with anything. This doesn't have to be Godot CLI. This could be like ls, right? Or like insert whatever tool you're using on the CLI here. I'm just adding args to it. So I'm saying, yep, run it headless. Tell it to quit after 120 frames or whatever it is. And then see if everything's on path, if it needs to. And then this is literally just like a command resolver helper. Like, this is not even logic that you would need. It's just to make sure it runs really well cross-platform if people on my team are stupid and didn't follow my README and didn't export things to the environment variable the way they're supposed to, right? So that's it. Like, I have now stitched together my entire app. This is not, I don't have a Docker Compose in here. I don't have shell scripts. I don't have anything. If I go into Podman, there's literally a Postgres container running. Like, what? I didn't touch that, man. I just made sure I opened Podman before my demo because I'm very smart and I've done this before. And I have not touched this container. Like, it exists. There is a database. I can go in and inspect this. I don't have actually, we can do this. With data volume and then with PG admin. The Aspire extension for Postgres integration has a builder on it that literally will just let you add the admin panel for Postgres with one line of code. Spins up a whole separate container. So next time it goes to restart my app, it's going to start Postgres admin so I can prove to you there's actual data in the database. Let's see what this idiot is doing. Ugh. Yeah. You're not going to figure this out. And that's, yeah, this is a distributed app. So commands are when it starts to go from like, yes, I can F5 my entire app and everything is amazing, to, oh, like I can build a custom dev experience into my source code. And what commands do is they let you hit any endpoint in your app from within the dashboard or the CLI if you want to script it, but within the dashboard. So what do you mean a build syntax error? Girl, that's not the issue. It's okay. It's all right. This is why I don't trust it. It's fine. So what the command does is it just hits this endpoint to nuke my leaderboard. And once it gets back up running, I'll show you what that actually looks like. But I have versions of this for all of the things that I hate doing as a developer in like all of my apps now. Like I have one that literally will just like seed a database with fake data for me. And I have this app that's to keep track of watering my plants. Distributed app. And it seeds it with fake data, so when I'm testing it, I don't have to like actually hit my production database every time. There's all different things you can do with it. And it's just like, it's just code. Okay, let's see if it fixed it. No. Sucker. Okay. In the dashboard, the way that this pops up is it's just on the leaderboard. Here, it's just a command. Look at that. I just built it. It's got a little trash can icon. Okay. So does this have the skills in it? Yeah. Do I want to screenshot it? Do I want to tell it? Do I want to just comment things out. Let me actually check that those files exist. Hold on. Yeah, they're there. Something weird. Okay, so the clone and run, almost perfect. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. No build errors in any of these. Services I know aren't the issue. Is there something in the CS project that's being silly? Nope, that's fine. Icon is good. App host is good. All right, well, we'll see if it figures it out. Let me check whether the game actually launches. Yeah, jerk. Oh my God. Okay. Ugh. While we're here, I will show you a different Aspire app in case the dashboard doesn't start functioning for me. Aspire Playground. Someone built Doom in the dashboard the other day. I don't have it cloned. I wish I did. It is so silly, but it's great. Okay. That's going, that's going. This is a fresh build of that, so it's gonna take a minute. Dashboard's still up, love that. I can also the best way to fake this would be to literally just hit this endpoint and just fake things here. I can do scores clear. I have posts and everything. And then that will do the traces for me. I don't actually know what I should be hitting on the leaderboard API. Let's find out. Services, leaderboard. What is, yep, health, leaderboard. Okay, so if I hit health here, my health check API, status healthy, cool. If I hit leaderboard here, it should hypothetically tell me who's on the leaderboard, which is nobody because the game won't run. And then, okay, there we go. Now my traces pop up. So this is obviously the manual version of testing this, but I am now able to take this trace from the leaderboard API, hitting just the raw endpoint. If the app was running, it would show you the app as the entry point. And then it hits this other API, my scores API, which is the one I should have been testing scores on, which then hits the database. And I can actually trace all of these things through the entire stack of my application instead of just hoping or using console logs, which is the worst possible scenario. If you're having performance issues, by the way, we do have a full metrics profiler. For open telemetry, if you instrument with it, it has metrics built in. It's awesome. So you can find out what is the longest part of your service and actually go and very tactfully go in and say, oh yeah, this specific part of my stack is what is taking so long, or it's a memory issue or whatever it is. And all of this, you can run the dashboard without Aspire if you don't want to. I mean, I don't know why you would, but you can, and you can just feed open telemetry into it. So anything that you have, any single service will work with that as well. Let's see, are you still spinning? Both? Oh, that's funny. I didn't build the project. That's what I forgot to do. Okay, that's fine. Now it's gonna run just fine. Okay. Yeah, so we'll give that a minute to start up. Any questions so far? I know I just took a 5-minute tangent, but we'll go to, yeah.
Kind of unrelated to the Godot side of things.
Yeah.
Does the dashboard have any direct integrations with a DevOps environment?
So you can deploy the dashboard to anything, but it's not, do you mean I can put something in the dashboard, or do you mean I can put the dashboard in my environment?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So you can, it is just a container.
Okay.
So you can put it in anything. We have a direct integration with Azure Container Apps and Azure App Service, but we have people deploy it as a container to literally anything.
Okay. We just switched to DevOps at my work. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, maybe this would work.
Yeah. The like caveat with the dashboard is it's not meant to be a production monitoring solution. Like, please do not replace like the real telemetry tools you have. Like Azure Monitor is the Azure one, or I don't know if you have like Honeycomb or Prometheus or whatever. Like, don't replace those with this. This is really for developers.
Okay, so it's more just to run on the developer system.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you can use it in prod to like see what's going on, but it's not meant to. It's got a rolling buffer.
Okay.
So if you have like 18 million requests coming in per second, it's not going to be that useful. If you're like me and you're deploying Bingo and like 6 people are using it, it's super helpful. And then I don't have to pay for like a Prometheus license. Like, that's really good. But once you get beyond that, okay. And so, want me to make that? Okay, calm down. So you kill my game, and then you don't start it back up for me? Let's see. Yay! Oh, there it is. There's my snake. What died again? At least my snake worked that time. Go away.
What was the purple item?
It was supposed to be the Aspire logo, and I did a really like ghetto sprite creation via one of those websites that's like, turn this logo into an SVG, and I did a really bad job. But it's cute, so it's okay.
Is it supposed to be the thing that the snake eats?
Yeah, that's supposed to be the apple.
Yeah.
Yep. Not my best. We're gonna get, I'm at this point now, like, we're just gonna make this thing run. Okay. Crashed after the game started. But my apple is there. Yay. While I'm here, I will also show you. So all of our docs, we do have a website. If you want to see all the integrations we have like a nice little gallery of them. So you can go in to browse, see like literally everything. So most of what you're already using, we probably have, if you are using these things. We don't have any integrations in our like first party integration gallery for game services, but we have quite a few people in the community who have built them at this point. Also, someone built a integration that literally just starts a Minecraft server as part of whatever app you're building. It's amazing. I use it all the time. I use it on my home server. So they're really easy to build. Like this, the code that I showed you in the bottom of this app host here is the equivalent of integration code. So you can kind of vibe them together for whatever you want with your team, right? We have people in companies building them for specific company executables and backends and et cetera, and shipping them internally. So every single person on their team has the same exact telemetry thing or leaderboard backend or insert service, microservice here. And people don't have to rebuild it every single time for all their different teams. So yeah. Good. You're gonna fix that for me. I know I could do this with my brain. And I know I should, but it's okay. It's for after. That is interesting that it didn't build it though. Fascinating. Okay, run Aspire, run again, and then I can finally play my snake game. Finally. Okay. Yay. Please don't quit. Yes. Oh my God, I'm so good. Look at my little apple. Okay, so here's my game. As you can see, this is very complicated. I did make sure that you can die. My husband did ask me, he was like, did you build in the ability to die? And I can't figure out. I need to make my snake longer. And I was like, I didn't really think that far ahead. I just wanted to see if I could eat the apple. If I go backwards, will it die? Hello?
I think you're just the right size on the chips.
I'm so good at dying in Snake. So, you know, game, UI. But down the buttons down here are what I use to hit my various APIs, right? So the leaderboard, I have not posted my score yet, so there's nothing on the leaderboard. I'm gonna post my score. Maddy is 0, because I died. Maddy 2. Right, let's play for a second here. Post my scores. Oh. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I definitely have to like, I like, oh, I know why. I'm zoomed in too far. Come on.
Does it still think you're in the,
It does.
in the name?
It does. I told you guys I'm not a game developer. But yeah, so I'm gonna click these buttons because it's gonna, okay, Maddy 2 has now posted. If I go to the leaderboard, Maddy 2 has 3 zeros in here. Maddy 3, post my score, has a 0. Now Maddy 3 and Maddy 2 both have zeros, very exciting, right? And I can go into the dashboard, which is running Aspire PS here. And in the traces, see all this happening across everything in my games. This is the demo I wanted to show you 10 minutes ago. So it's right here, like the Snake client is loading the leaderboard, right? Demo leaderboard load. When I post a score, it's hitting my score API. It's actually posting that thing, posting that through the API into the database. And then in this one, when I call the leaderboard, it's calling it from the database. And if I wanted to get really fancy, I could add caching in here, et cetera, but we're not gonna do that. So let me restart it one last time. Run. And let me add a parameter onto the slowest part of this, which is Postgres, where I can start to really like customize my dev loop, which I'm gonna do with container lifetime. Or with lifetime? With lifetime. Container lifetime dot persistent. And so I can do this to anything now. I can do this to an executable, I can do this in a container. What this tells Aspire is if I stop the Aspire app, don't tear this down and start this thing back up. Just leave it running. Because that thing, this is really good for like front ends too. So like if you're building like an admin portal or something that's JavaScript and you just want to hot reload your UI changes, you don't want to stop and start it every time. This is a really good way to do that and customize that DevX. And so now when I Aspire run here in Podman, it's not gonna turn off and turn back on. It's just gonna, oh, fascinating. Is it gonna start a new one? Where did it go? No, it's still running. Just refreshed. Okay, let's play Snake again. Post to the leaderboard. 10. Yeah, I also, to make the snake, I also copy pasted into that ghetto SVG site. And the tongue was really hard to make, so I had a good time with that. Okay. One more score, then we're gonna post it. Cool. Post the 60, look at the leaderboard. All of my data from my past horrible runs are still there because I had a database. I'm not just like running this in memory anymore. And so I go into the dashboard again, refresh my traces. It's right there. Yeah, so it's posted to the database. I started up that Postgres admin too. That's a separate container. I now have this URL. I can go in and like literally manually click through my databases and see, oh my goodness, see the actual data in it. If you're a database admin, this is great for you. If you're not, never look at this. Avoid it at all costs, I promise you. And I can run queries against this. I mean, I have like a full distributed stack app running right now with just my little front end. So you get to focus on making this work and making sure that the text boxes are, highlighted correctly. And when I hit tab, it actually goes away from it. And everything else in here is just, once you have something that works, you just stitch it together. You never have to think about it again. Like, that's it. There's no more, Docker compose and shell scripts and insert whatever horrible way that you've started your apps up until now here. You have them, you clone it, you run it, you build the project. And then you just Aspire run, and that's it. So let me pull my slides back up. Nope, clicked on that. This is cool, by the way, I didn't show this. If you click on the resource, you can see all of the way that Aspire works under the hood, sneaky, it's just environment variables. Very fancy. You can see all of the things that Aspire injects for open telemetry, but then also for like references to resources and everything. So you can actually see your env. If you need an env file, you don't have to like copy paste the env.dev and then text the guy on your team with the API keys. Like you could just do them within here. It's very fancy. Go to my last slide. I should have left this open. That would have been the smart idea. Okay. Links. Aspire.dev is the main link. That's our website. We are fully open source, and we are cloud agnostic. So I know I work for Microsoft, so I default to Azure because I can message them on Teams and complain to them when things don't work. But I also use a bunch of other clouds myself. I use DigitalOcean a ton personally for like my own websites. We have a Discord. So we actually had a couple people last year join in after GodotCon. Feel free to join, and we have like a show and tell channel. Yeah, channel. And it's if you ever use Aspire, especially for game stuff, like feel free to post that in there. We have a couple people using it already, and so there's some good examples in the show and tell. And I think that's it. So thanks for bearing with me, and thanks for sitting in traffic to get here. My source for this is all on GitHub. That, if you want to take a picture. So you can go in and see my horrific game code and my really good service code. And then also, of course, the Godot integration that I built for working with Aspire. And so, and the slides. Yeah. But I think because we started late, I still have a few minutes for questions, and then I'll cut you loose to get the rest of the bagels. So any other questions? Nothing? Nothing? Oh.
So I'm still in the early stages of one of my games that I would love to have like a database to like at least save the data, and so like you can cross-player like
Yeah.
access from your phone, access from your computer.
Yeah.
So with that, I know I need to like work with a database thing. I forget what one I'm potentially looking at. You know, like AWS was one.
Yep.
So, sorry, that was a roundabout way of getting to my question. Do you need to have those like memberships or like those like set up before you can use Aspire?
No. So the cool thing about Aspire integrations, that's a really good question. The cool thing about Aspire integrations is like if you don't want to use this anymore, you just comment it out. And then you use a different one. So the databases, like you can get into the nitty gritty of it. Like some of them have different flavors of SQL. So if you're going to use something that's based on Postgres, you'd want to start with the generic Postgres integration and then use the Postgres container and then eventually upgrade to whatever the Amazon managed Postgres is, or like I don't know what Dynamo is under the hood. We have vector databases, but like there's usually a generic version of every cloud specific database and cache and queue provider. And then you just use that, and then when you're ready to deploy it or start developing against the specific AWS one, you can literally just like comment this out and then add the Aspire integration for the cloud-specific one. Most of the cloud-specific ones, like the Azure one, is literally just built on top of this. They just add parameters so it knows how to spit out bicep if you publish it to Azure. Like that's all it's doing. It's not doing anything else. Yeah, so the key thing about this being code and not like script and or markdown is just like comment things out. If statement thumb, if key exists, run this. If key doesn't exist, run generic one. And you can go from there. And that applies to everything, not just databases.
Could you talk a little bit about like on the Aspire website, like what do the resources look like to get started?
Yeah.
Because I know I'll forget.
Yes.
A lot of this. I particularly love like video tutorials. Like, does Aspire have those?
We are working on them.
Amazing.
Unfortunately for you, that means you have to see more of my face. We do have a YouTube. So we stream. We're off for like the summer. We're taking like a summer break. But every Friday we stream adding Aspire to people's apps. It is a disaster. It is my favorite day of the week. We call it Aspire Fridays. Our record stream is 8.5 hours long. That was the early days. We've gotten a lot better at it. But we are also welcome to have people on anytime. So like if anyone's interested, just hop in the Discord and let me know. When you go to the docs, you can hit try or explore, but Foundations has all of the actual tutorials, build your first app, deploy, add to an existing app, which you can just use aspire init, and that just adds a blank app host, and then you stitch it up from there. And then our YouTube should be on the bottom of this page, I believe. Yeah. And we do have a variety of videos here. We did a conference in March. So there's a lot of this one's a really good one, Aspire for Newbies. It's more like generic service oriented. It's not specific to games, but the guy who did this one has built quite a few games in his free time. So he knows his way around anyways. And then, yeah, we're gonna add more videos once we get back from break, from summer time off from the internet. But we do a lot of like short videos. We call them Aspire Baits. So like it's just what is this thing? Like here is how you do 2-minute, I don't know, container lifetime, like whatever thing I want to demo. Yeah. And I will also call out, there is a really good tutorial by, what is his name? I think it's Tim Corey. Yeah, this guy, I am Tim Corey, does a really, really, really good videos in general, but he's done some really good Aspire ones. So that's a good one to check out too, if you want like a third party experience. Corey. He's always got this head on the video. That's how I recognize him. Okay, cool. Anything else? Yeah.
So it sounds like, this is a pretty useful tool for a lot of different dev applications. So it sounds like exploring the game dev side of it's it's just another application. What's the Aspire team looking to build next or build feature-wise? Is it continuous performance increases? Are there additional features you guys want to do? Or is the base features or what's currently available is kind of what the app is meant to be? What's the long-term vision for additional accessibility, additional features, additional integrations?
We are staring at the most ginormous pile of features of all time that we want to build. So we are by no means in maintenance mode. Integrations, always adding more integrations is going to be something we continue to do. We have something called the community toolkit. So that's where people who build integrations, but they don't want to be solely responsible for them, or they're one-off things, you can contribute them into this community project. And this is where a lot of funky random things go. So where's it go? Oh yeah, some guy built a Perl integration, just for fun. He was like, I don't want to maintain this, and I don't know why anyone would ever use this, but I wanted to contribute it back. And we said, okay, cool, thanks. We also pop these up into first-party Aspire too once they're proven out here. So this is a really good way to contribute if you have an idea for an integration. I'm actually going to put my Godot one in here now that I have it almost working. I just need to fix that build issue. And then, yeah, we have a roadmap that we published, and there's a lot in here. Local dev experience, so being able to just start pieces of the app is a big one. Better testing, so end-to-end testing, being able to mock out your services and do integration testing without actually UI testing is huge. We have a story built in. We want to expand that. And then one of the other things we're working on is deployment for, right now, internal to Microsoft. So we're making sure you can deploy any enterprise level service with Aspire, which means that when we'll build it into the actual product, of course. We're not going to build anything custom. That isn't for internal tools. So that means that you can do cross-region deployments of your services and the annoying DevOps cloud infra things that you don't want to deal with. You can define all of that in the app host here. So yeah, there's a lot we're still working on. We're also, this roadmap is really just for the next few months. So we're really amenable to what other people want to hear.
Very cool.
Yeah. So cool. All right, thanks everybody. I'm gonna stick around for a bit. Aspire.dev is the main link, and everything else comes from there. Thank you for bearing with my game development skills, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Great. Thank you.